sort of realizes that, but then it's kind of too late. You know, he sort of dies as he's realizing those sorts of things about existence and himself and so on. So what do you think Shakespeare, if he was sort of whispering to us 400 or 500 years later, is trying to say about leaders when he seems to be giving us these lead characters who are not always that good at leading? Is there something to unlock there?
For sure. I mean, I've been unlocking bits of it for 25 years, so it depends how long you've got. But in the headlines, he was holding up a mirror to nature. That's what he has Hamlet say. The purpose of art is to hold a mirror up to nature. And the way we use the work is to hold a mirror up to the human nature of leadership. So leaders are human. We all have our gifts, we have our flaws. When we get on to talk about the archetypes later on, the gifts and shadows will become clearer, I hope, for your listeners, in terms of how we use them in the mythodrama work. But you can learn as much from people who go wrong as you can from people who go right.
Right.
In the same way as I would personally say, I've learned far more from my mistakes in life than I have from my successes. So the successes are nice, but the mistakes are where the learning happens. And that's, I think, what enables transformation. Now, you know, some leaders in Shakespeare, I mean, we focus on Henry V because he's generally seen as a more heroic figure.
Right.
We focus on Macbeth in contrast with the young Prince Malcolm. Macbeth is some person who's overambitious, who becomes a tyrant, and Malcolm is the person who starts running away, who ends up being the savior of Scotland. Right. So the two journeys kind of dovetail and mirror each other in opposite directions. We use Julius Caesar with 4 flawed leaders who all end up, you know, creating a civil war between them around influence and politics, and so on. Tempest, Prospero is deeply flawed, but he's enabling another generation to come into being. So we use that about change. And As You Like It is the one where Rosalind, as the kind of heroine of the play, works her magic to change a system from one that has become very corrupt to one that has a chance of regaining some innocence and freshness to it. So we pick very carefully the plays. So we don't use Titus Andronicus. We don't use Richard III, but Macbeth is the good enough kind of role model of a leader that can go wrong.
Yeah.
If you look at the world today, and particularly around a lot of the nationalist politics that are around, you know, there's a big mirror in Macbeth for what we're going through, and those who are ambitious for their own ends rather than for a greater purpose.